9 a.m. on an August day in a pretty rural setting. Far from the city, far from parents. It's not all holiday for the young residents of this summer camp. There are chores to be done before breakfast. Then there's a little time to relax before the events of the day begin. This could be any summer camp, but there's something different about this one. The lives of all the campers have been touched by terrorism. One girl's father was executed last year in Nigeria by Boko Haram, while in 2007, now 22-year-old Adrienne survived an attack at a tourist spot in Saudi Arabia.
On s'est arrêté pour pique-niquer au bord d'une piste.
We stopped to have a picnic on the side of the trail. There were 3 families and 3 4x4s. Another 4x4 passed us, then did a U-turn and came back 2 minutes later. They got out of the car and shot at us. It lasts, I don't know, maybe 30 seconds or a minute.
Ça a duré, je sais pas, peut-être 30 secondes, une minute, et puis...
Then they got back in the car and just drove off. Just like that, 4 people were dead, including my father. I stayed there with my mother and sister near the bodies.
Ma sœur sur les lieux avec les 3 autres cadavres.
I've never felt hatred towards anyone. It's more incomprehension. It wasn't us they were after. It was more about Western society in general. It's just that we were in the wrong place at the wrong time.
Adrienne and the other young survivors of terrorism have come together to help each other deal with their trauma. This therapeutic summer camp is the first of its kind in France. It's an idea that was born in the US after the September 11 attacks.
Today we wanted to talk about loss and touch on the theme of guilt, which is quite a common one. So let's open the discussion.
These group therapy sessions are confidential and freeing. Here there's no family, religious or cultural pressure. This is where some of the young people open up for the very first time. They're difficult moments, but healing.
When you're a teenager or a child, you're upset that not only are you a victim, but you're also forced to go to the psychiatrist. But group therapy can quickly have a positive effect. You can start to make sense of things. It's a mirror effect. He's been through the same thing as me, but he's found another way to get past it. He's doing it that way and I can follow. He's letting himself laugh, dance, go to a club. I haven't let myself live since my family member died.
Bombings in Morocco, the Algerian civil war, FARC executions, the Beslan school siege. Every child here has lived through a different tragedy. Behind the seemingly carefree smiles, the wounds are deep and often difficult to talk about. At the camp, afternoons are taken up with art, theatre and music workshops, which let the participants express themselves in different ways.
In the morning, they really let it out. They were crying. What I'm trying to do, what the association wants from me, is a bit of respite. Often the kids ask me in the middle of a workshop if I have a minute. Come on, let's go and chat for a bit. So we talk.
16-year-old Shona is from Israel. 10 years ago, her life changed.
We sat down behind the gym and met 2 people. 2 boys who sat with us. We talked to them for about 15 minutes. Then a missile fell on the gym and we were hit by shrapnel. And the door came down on us. I got some shrapnel in my thigh. It was there for 9 years. They only removed it last year. I was 6.5 when it happened. I still remember every single detail.
Je me repose, je fais ma petite sieste, je me lâche, je sors toute la fatigue nerveuse. Le corps, il porte beaucoup d'empreintes.
The body carries the weight of their experiences. There's a kind of tension, and my job is to help them relax and unwind, and to push them to express themselves with their own bodies.
Guillaume understands better than most what the children are going through. In 1989, his father was killed in an airline bombing. Now he fights for justice for other victims of terrorism.
Derrière chaque affaire, il y a des secrets d'État.
In every case, there are state secrets, top secret defense documents, the protection of certain terrorists by governments. We're very aware of the difficulty of getting justice. One case in 10 leads to a trial, but the survivors can keep pushing. It's very important that these young people not be ashamed of being victims of terrorism, and even that they have a certain pride. They can say to themselves, I've been through something that most people haven't, and that's something they can use.
These young people see the world with eyes mature beyond their years, a perspective that's turned them into international ambassadors for peace.